Hey, what's up, world? Welcome back to another episode of Santi Speaks, and then here we are talking about comedy again. Got to keep it simple, got to keep it happy. Again, I am a human being, I'm not an AI. And I got a lot of different things to talk about. Most of them are either my perspectives, my experiences. Not everybody will relate. Some people will relate, though. I got a lot of stories I'm gonna share, and there's some humor to be gathered in all. This is a first run. I'm not a professional. I'm not used to this. I am literally just putting myself out there for the first time. Like I said, to just bring a little bit of humor into the world and share. I think that's one of the things we don't share real life. Nobody shares real life. I share real life, and I like to speak the truth, exaggerate on it a little bit from time to time. I think if you exaggerate on the truth, you get a bigger fish in the boat. But for the most part, this is legit. And when I was a youngster, like I'd say from like 8 to 15, my grandparents owned a bar. And they owned a bar out in the middle of the country. It was out in the middle of, as a child, it's like, man, it's out in the middle of nowhere. But in all reality, it was very close. It was about 45 minutes, an hour and 15, somewhere around there from the house. And as a child, though, it really feels like once there's no longer a house on every block, or there's actually no more blocks. When there's no more blocks, it's like, man, where are we? We are in the wild, wild west. This is insane. Where's the bears at? And my grandparents' bar, it was surrounded by woods, for real. And there was only like two houses you could see that were walkable. Even their house was like set back 50 yards into the woods, even further than the bar itself. And it was a very interesting time in my life. I got to get out of the city. My parents would send me up there to be to be out of the city, spend some time with grandma. I loved it. I got to free food, free video games. They had, we didn't have real video games, but well, we did. We had the OG games. We had like pinball and pool table and darts, and that is where it stopped. But hanging out in the bar all day until like 9 o'clock at night, and then they kicked me out. They said it's against the law for kids to be in the bar at night, so you got to go. And I was probably a nuisance, to be honest, because coming from the city with a bunch of friends in the neighborhood, I probably had 30 kids in my neighborhood within a block that you could ride our BMX bikes with all over the place, cause havoc until the lights came on, and then it was time to go home and report to the family where you've been if there was any interest. And we were a little rambunctious back then, growing up in the 80s and 90s, but it's probably like 1984, and I'm at my grandma's bar, and there was a couple day drinkers, mostly old farmers, pretty good people. There was this one guy that he reminded me of, like, if Clint Eastwood was 100 times more wrinkly and ugly, it would be this guy. I can't remember his name, but man, he was pruned up. His face was just all wrinkles, all creases. He was an old farmer, and he was a hard worker. He was a good guy. I liked him. He was probably one of my favorite people in that bar. Not too many people would talk to me because, I was just a young kid. But he was one that would talk to me. He sat at the bar all day just having a beer, and smoking. A lot of smoking. Back then, everybody smoked. And if you were good at it, you were really good at it. But they had a long bar at the bar, and it was a bar restaurant. It was a nice place. I liked it. It wasn't like a hole in the wall. It was well done. It had a stage and a dance floor, and it probably sat 30 tables, and the bar itself probably sat, probably 30 people. But during the day when I would be in there, for the most part, it was pretty empty. Farmers coming in, or farmers on a day off coming in, hunters, things like that. very country. We had a jukebox in there, but I liked it because I go sit in the freezer, and Grandma would let me make my own food, make my own deep fried food, and get my own sodas. Man, I lived on sodas. How did I make it this far? I lived on sodas. And at least when I was up there, I did. When I go home, when I was at home, back at home in the Gnaw, we didn't have soda. We had Kool-Aid, and that's got to be worse than soda. It's cheaper, but it's got to be worse. And the candy bars, I got to eat all the candy bars I wanted to, and I had the key to the jukebox, so I could program it and things like that, and just play the songs that I wanted to hear. And anyway, one day, here we go. We're gonna get into the point now. Hold up. One day I was in the bathroom. I went to the bathroom. It was probably like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and that guy was in there. I can't remember his name. I wish I could remember his name. I'm sure he's dead now, because that was probably 40 years ago, and he was probably 70 at the time. So that'd probably make him like 110 years old. He might not be dead, but the way he was smoking and drinking, I'm sure he was. But I almost had his name and I lost it. Anyway, I go into the bathroom, and he's sitting in there. He's sitting in there, using the urinal. And I'm waiting. There was only the one urinal in the toilet, and I'm waiting for the urinal. And he's got his hand up on the wall, and he's leaning and peeing. That's what men do. They lean and pee. I don't know why. It's like so that's how we make it a restroom. You're resting, you gotta lean up against the wall. But he looks at me, and he says, "You just wait one day, son." He's like, "Peeing ain't the same when you get older." I was like, what is this? Number one, I know you ain't supposed to talk to me while you're peeing. It's like a rule. I'm young, but I understand that rule already. You don't make eye contact. Men don't make eye contact, and we don't talk when we're taking care of business. But he was taking care of his business, and he wasn't being dirty or nothing. He was respectful about it, but he says, it's just not the same. It's not the same. He was drunk. He had a slur. He's like, it's not the same when you get older. Peeing's not the same. I didn't understand what he was talking about. I was like, peeing ain't the same. What do you mean? You just pee, right? And, well, now I understand. I'm 50 years old, over 50, and I definitely understand that peeing is not the same. Enjoy it while you're young. Peeing changes. Life changes. Love changes. Everything changes. But peeing definitely changes. They say women, after they have a child, after women give birth, things ain't the same, and the bladder and the pee track, whatever you call that thing, the exit is not the same anymore. And I don't know what happens to men. I understand it with women. You push the watermelon out of there, yeah, that thing expanded. I don't know what happens with men, but it's not the same anymore. It just doesn't have the same strength. You notice it when you're even in public restrooms. You go to a concert and there's like 50 urinals and everybody's peeing. You can tell who's got a good solid prostate, because you can tell a solid, strong prostate versus a weak prostate. There's one time I had a job and I was in the bathroom and the restroom, and it was an indoor job. We was working in an office space, and I was in there. There was probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 urinals, just me in there, and I was peeing. And I had a good prostate at the time. I was in a good pee. Had a strong flow. And I was taking care of my business, and in walks this black dude. And this is a black dude, man. I'm telling you. I don't know why he was working there. He should have been playing in the NFL. This guy was like he's probably like 6'8", but he was 100% muscle, and he was a big dude. And I'm sitting over there making my noise. When you're a man, you try and avoid the water. Number one, you don't want the splash, but number two, you don't want people to know how strong your prostate is. And I'm over there making my noise. I was kind of proud of. I was like, yeah, peeing like a racehorse is what they say. But this guy came in, and he was peeing like a pterodactyl. or a T-Rex, because it was like, I was like, what is happening over there? This guy's got a fire hose going on. Oh, man. I was like, dude, good for you. Good for you. You've got a good, strong prostate. You've got a lot of pressure behind that bladder. I'm not really sure how that whole situation works, but I'm familiar with how it doesn't work. I'm at the point now at 50. It's like, man, am I going to start or what? What is happening here? You used to call it stage fright. You know, you'd be like having to pee or like you'd be camping or something. Dad's like, go pee over there, pee behind a tree. And you're like, man, everybody's looking. I can't pee. It's like stage fright. But now you get stage fright all by yourself. It's like, man, I can't start. What is happening? I got to pee really. Will you just do it? What's wrong with you? And you gotta start doing research about what kind of exercises do I do to strengthen this thing, you know? And if it's not how do I start, it's how do I stop? Am I done yet? What the heck? I mean, I feel like I'm done. I mean, I'm pretty sure we've come to an agreement that I'm done, but it doesn't feel like I'm done. It feels like I got there's a lot more to go. We haven't gone the distance yet. And that's kind of one of those situations where you take care of your business and then you walk away. And before you wash your hands, and before you get to the door, you're like, nope. Your eyes really quickly be like, nope, we ain't done. It's even worse when you get farther than the door. Like if you're at a restaurant or something, you get back out to the, or even if you're at home, you get back out to the kitchen and you be like, oh man, I'll be right back. It's like, what is happening? I need to go see a doctor. At work right now, you know, because I drink a lot of water. I push a lot of water. I like to keep my system clean and well hydrated. People say, oh, you drink too much water, it's bad for you. No, man, I don't buy that. The body's 70% water. I pee out 50% at a time. So I got to keep it moving. I got to keep myself well hydrated, keep my skin and my life young. I don't drink sodas and all that nonsense. Strictly water. I even drink. I like to take it with some salt, some Celtic salt. So I like to drink my water like that. But I heard it was good for you, and the explanation was pretty solid. So I maintain that. And but when I get to work, I work with a partner, and he's always driving, and he's way younger than me. I got like 30 years on him, which is strange. Never thought I'd be this old and working with somebody so young, and he. And he's, what do they call that? He's been there longer than me, so he's got, I forget, seniority. I was thinking P word for prostate, but he's got seniority on me. But I'm always like, bro, I need you to help me out. We gotta stop. I gotta use the restroom. I told him day one, I was like, listen, man, I'm an old head, and when you become an old head, I gave him the story that guy at the bar gave me. I was like, you don't know, you just don't know. And so I was like, hey, man, just let you know, got some years on me and I drink a lot of water. So I got to pee a lot. And so he's used to it now, but it was kind of weird at first. I was like, all right, I got to pee again. He's like, we just left. I'm like a child, and it's my dad, but I got 30 years on him. He's like, we just left the house. We just left the office. We just left the shift, or we just left the yard or the factory. Or I'm like, I know, I'm sorry, man. I'm apologizing for having to pee that much, but I'm not going to wear a diaper. I'm not there yet. You know, hopefully nobody has to be there, because that's a horrible situation. I can only imagine. But peeing in the dark at night is new. I never thought I'd have pee jokes. I never thought I'd be one to have pee jokes, but you gotta laugh at it. Peeing in the dark at night is weird. You know, you get up in the middle of the night to pee. I probably pee like 5 times a night, so I don't get a lot of really good solid sleep. But I also don't like to turn on the lights, because then you're like, oh, I'm starting to wake up. So I just go straight for the darkness. I know where I'm headed. And but when you're a man, you don't sit. Well, I don't sit. And you know, you lift up the toilet, and you gotta listen. Your hearing's got to be intact, because that's very important. You want to hit water. If you don't hit water in the middle of the night, you don't want to hit the rim of the bowl, because then you're full of pee. It splatters out. You got to take a shower at that point. You might as well get up now. It's 2:00 in the morning and you're covered in pee. You can't go to bed covered in pee. I can't sleep comfortably like that. So middle of the night, you got to listen for water. You got to listen for the water. And once you find water, you can make your way to the shoreline there. You don't have to always hit water because water splashes also. So once you hit water, then you're kind of like, all right, let me aim over here so I can almost not hear water. And then you're like, all right, that's a safe. That's a safe. There's a strategy to peeing that when you get older. Whoever thought that peeing would be funny? Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm the only one that finds it funny. The worst thing that can happen is, I'd say, yeah, it's definitely worse than hitting the rim. Because if you hit the rim, there's like this quick splatter, and you're like, oh, back to water. But worse than that is when your stream finds a pajama string, because then you don't know what's going on. You're like, why do I not hear water? I'm aiming all over the place. I'm not hitting anything. Am I even going? Is this even happening? Maybe I'm done. And then you gotta like turn on the lights. What is happening? You turn on the light and you're like, whatever. It's like, what just happened? How am I a grown man and I just did this? Lastly, even more scary and more horrifying than that is when you're a man and you're peeing. And I don't know, I'm sure there's many men that can relate. Women definitely can't relate, but men can relate to because you got to do something with the other hand. You got there's some, you hold, and there's a technique to it, and but it's called losing a ball. You ever lose a ball? You're like, what in the what happened? God help me, Jesus, in Jesus' name. What is going on? This can't be healthy. This can't be healthy. Where did it retract to? Why did it retract? Why have you left me? Please come back. I mean, I don't really need you at this point in my life, but it would be good to know where you went. It's like talking to your kids, I don't really need you, but I need to know where you're at. Safety matters here. Anyway, that's peeing over 50. For some people, it might be peeing over 40. It didn't hit me until 50, and it's different. So think about what you're doing. Be grateful for what you're doing. Be grateful for the strength of your prostate. I don't know how this made it into my lineup. Peace.